boys. You know, jam with the big boys. It is 5 minutes after the hour of 2 o'clock, the clock says. And you're still up to my 88.3 FM. And this is Happy Soul. And first question, of course, the talk segment of Happy Soul. And I have this way, I have our conversation. And of course, now for the next couple of weeks, folks, like yesterday I did, I apologize. You won't get a lot of, the R&B from yours truly. But we have our obligation is to make sure that you guys are informed so you can make informed decisions and cast an informed vote on August 19th for the second parliamentary election in 2024. Yeah, that's why from now until the 19th, you have to sit back, relax, listen to all of the candidates as they come in here and tell you why you should vote for them. Right now, I just had the leader of the Now Party, who will be back, that's Chris Emmanuel, who will be back again, and now I have the deputy leader, speaking of ramping with the big boys, here with me, and these two you're gonna hear a lot of them in the campaign. I mean, Tonch is gonna be here with us every Thursday. Chris is gonna be popping in almost all the time, so you won't miss them. They'll be constant here on the station, as well as some other candidates from other parties. So it's gonna be an interesting few weeks. I want to say good afternoon to the deputy leader, Claudius Toncha Boncampa of the Now Party. Ton.
Good afternoon, Mike. How you doing?
Good afternoon. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Mike. I'm doing well. It's like Chris just said before. We are on the ground now,
yes.
And it's every day you are dealing with people, and you get questions, and sometimes you have to take a deep breath before you answer the question.
Yeah.
But I am happy because there's an interaction. The people are tired of where we are.
Right.
They're looking for a serious change.
Right.
That change isn't of May 3rd to today. That change is what brought us here.
Right.
That's the change they're looking for. And some of us had hoped that the election results of January would have led to at least a government of 3 years. And always in the government, there's always a little rumbling going on when you get into election, because who you going to blame for what,
right,
and who will take the blame on what. But unfortunately, selfishness, greed, power-hungry people opted to convince a young man to do the unthinkable after 17 days and pull his support from a newly installed government.
Right.
It's unfortunate it happened, but it has happened. The Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers pulled and invoked Article 59, and we are now going to the polls on August 19th. And you hear a lot of people, you tell me the country bankrupt and blah, 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 and you go and call elections. But you must call elections if this is the way we're going to run a country. Yeah. Lose the elections and then try to pull people from other parties and throw down governments because you didn't get what you want, or you want to cover what you had. Mm-hmm. So, in that sense, I find it a pity, but, you live and learn in politics.
Right.
You live and learn every day in politics. But, Mike, let me say it this way. St. Martin needs a new direction.
Yes.
St. Martin needs a new lifestyle.
Right.
The Now Party is not a party of yesterday.
Right.
It's a party of now, today, and the future. And Chris boiled in a little bit on, we have to do things for the next generation. Our generation, I am 61 years old. Who am I fooling? No. Will I see independence in this country? Never. Not in my lifespan.
No.
But will this country someday become independent or become part of an organization of like CARICOM and so? Yes. I truly, truly believe it will. So again, but you have to evolve. You have to reach there. And we have people that are on the campaign trail making a lot of empty promises. They're not coming with solutions. They're fighting each other. We are busy now in campaign, and I realize people are pointing fingers at who did this or who did that or who promised this and who didn't. Look, exactly. Some people are even out there now screaming already, he can't take his seat. He gonna waste.
But that's my first. I hear about it, your MP.
I know.
With my first question being this question, and maybe you can touch on it briefly.
I'm not going to waste too much time,
right,
because when a cook talks about law, when a failed accountant talks about law, you know the answer they're going to give you is stupidity. Because they don't know what they're talking about. Had they at least taken the time to read our Constitution? Now, Mike, when I was suspended in 2021, so I was suspended on the 23rd of December 2021, the day a conviction fell in first instance. Our Constitution says, Article 50 sub 2, because these idiots can't read. If I am convicted, I will be suspended. But if you go back to read the other articles like 48 and like 49, you will understand that the duration of the suspension is the term that I was convicted. That is the term 2020, 2024. That's that term. Had Chris been appointed minister, I would have been a parliamentarian and nobody would have sent me home. But unfortunately, they can't comprehend this. It's above their pay grade. It's above their knowledge, seemingly. But remember now, at the end of the day, I would advise them, seek legal counsel. Go and seek it. Don't just go by a lawyer under the tree. Don't go by Johnny under the tree. Go and ask somebody that understands Constitution, understands the constitutional law. And then you will see that the terminologies used in there are very clear. You're talking about a duration of a term. Because put yourself in this position. Why would the Electoral Council allow me to postulate myself now, and then when I am elected and I go to Parliament, they will tell me, oh, you can't take your seat. That means that the government, that our Constitution is committing votaries fraud. Because you're lying to the public. It's not me allowing me to run. It's the Constitution of St. Martin is allowing Bancampa to run. But these fools, because I don't have a better word. I'm not angry, you know. I'm irritated. Because they're educated people. I want to believe they can read the Constitution that runs this country. And yes, the Constitution has flaws. Even MP Bryson said it. We got a lot of flaws in there we got to go and change. Right. But we don't do it. Right. As long as they don't benefit us, we ain't going to do it. Right. I hear them talk about electoral reform and what. Oh, please, man. I have never seen the hog take himself to the butcher and say, butcher me. Please, come on. You know? So, okay, well, for me, it's a station passé, yes. Yeah, but I am going to have it put out in the public, right, formally, by people that are competent in this arena.
So you're going to always, you know, as a veteran politician.
Yes. Look,
they're going to always put it out there.
If you can't beat me, you're going to try to confuse the public with me. Right. But like I always said, there was a great man that said, if you want the job done, call Bancampa. He didn't say call Aaron, he didn't say call Onde. He said call Bancampa.
That's where I'm on it.
I didn't say that. I just said a great man, but it was said on the floor of Parliament. So Crapo go smoky pipe.
Oh, God. Okay, and a lot of people didn't think you'd be running this election. I mean, you know, you would say, you know, you've done your part, you've done your role for the country, yes, be it in government, be it volunteering, socially, whatever. You've done your due.
Yes.
You could have easily said, leave that for these
the younger people?
Yeah.
Yes.
But you did it. But in your back.
In a way, okay, yes. I thought long and hard on will I run. And I told the leader, you know, listen, I really thought we were going 4 years.
Yeah.
And I would have been 65 years on the next spin of elections.
Right.
So I said to Chris, you know, Chris, I want to thank you for the opportunity. I truly enjoyed it. I will remain part of the now. I'll be part of the team. I'll help you where I can, when I can, you know.
Right.
But I have seen it. And then you get this incident 5 months down the road. And we had another talk. He came back to me and said, I really want you to reconsider your decision on not running. Right. And, you know, I thought long and hard. And I said, you know what? I want to get the most important thing out of the way. Right. Am I eligible to take my seat? Right. So I had lawyers that are tied to the Council Kingdom of State, Raad van Advies in Holland. They checked this for me. They gave me the rundown on our Constitution because here, majority don't understand it yet. When I got that confirmation, I said, you know what? Why not? Because the one thing they beat me on the last time was this frivolous article in the Daily Herald written by somebody that was too close to politicians.
Right.
And brought out the wrong story. And GB helped me immensely by having all electricity gone in the town area by the radio stations to be able to counteract. I even did a Facebook with Grace trying to bring out the story, but you know, listen, when the written media puts out something, people are going to take that over the word of a politician.
Right.
And I understand that because the media is the fourth power.
Right.
So, you know, it hurt me and it hurt me bad at the polls. I lost 65% of my votes that I had in 2020.
Right.
This time I plan to take back 2020 plus 50%. So I'm looking at any place between 450 to 500 votes. That's my goal. I'm mincing the words about it. What you see in Buncamper is what you get. I don't just talk the talk, I walk that walk. I have done it in agriculture. I spoke about agriculture, spoke about the legalization of weed and those things. I decided, let me go and learn what agriculture is all about. Let me take the hard knocks. Because I'm going to lie to you, sometimes you work so hard, you plant the crops and then the animals come there, you know, the monkey come pick up this, then the guana come eat that, you know, it breaks your heart.
Right.
So I understand the frustration of those other people too. But Mike, there's more to Tongchu than just agriculture. I have a vast knowledge when it comes to alternative energy, and I look for solutions that are not the same old. Oh, we need to get more money from taxation so we could do this. No, that's not true. That is not true. That should never be our departure point.
Right.
That we're going to go look for more money.
Right.
There are things like the Environmental Society Governmental Fund. It is a $30 trillion asset management company. They make guidelines for companies and for countries. If you are waste friendly, you don't pollute crazily, you are energy conservant, you are alternative, green minded in energy, coastline protections. Once you do these things, and the companies that are involved in the building of these, what we call smart, affordable homes, they are willing to give you money.
Smart, affordable home.
Correct. Why smart? Because the home has to fit in today's world.
Okay.
It is not the cement plaster window door
Right.
with a normal roof. No, it's not that. It is a roof full of solar panels with LED lights, with windows and doors that hold in the warmth or the cold and keeps out the warmth or the cold. The blocks that you build with can be foam blocks filled with a little bit of concrete. Material that is environmental friendly, recycled material, in other words. This is what it's about. They want you to bring down your carbon footprint. They are willing to help you with that. This is where we gotta go.
But are they hurricane resistant?
Oh, more than that, because you must be resilient, otherwise it's no good.
Right.
If everything starts to blow away, you are creating waste,
Right.
and you should curb your waste. We spoke of waste to energy. That's a way of curbing waste. And once you regulate your emissions, you're bringing down your carbon footprint. So again, it all ties in. But that's not where it stops. That makes it affordable.
Right.
But what does Samantha need more than anything right now? Better paying jobs. Better paying jobs brings money into the kitty cat because you're paying taxes on it.
Right.
Now let's be clear. The industry of tourism is a great industry, but it's a low-paying industry.
Correct.
It is an industry where minimum wage reigns. And I hear politicians say, oh, we're going to make the minimum wage $2,700. That is wishful thinking if your economy can't afford it.
Correct.
Because a business compete, you know, make it law, they compete. They had 10 people at minimum wage. Now they're going to have 5 people at $2,700. So you got 5 people at home, then you got to pay social welfare too. It don't make sense. People are talking, blapping out of their mouth, but not putting it in perspective with reality.
Right.
Reality is we need to train people to get into green energy, alternative energy. That's where the money lies. Building in the construction world smart. So, you know, once we do this, Mike, we are opening a complete new frontier. Will it be for the rest of our lives? No, it will not. But it will retrain. You send them 100 people from TLM. So what are you going to do? Give them a taxi and bus license now? Or put them on a vending license? Please. These are professionals that we can retrain and put them back to work, because these are young people still. People at 65 are still very active in today's world. While it's pension age in St. Martin, those people are still active. A lot of them, you notice, they become consultants afterwards, and they start doing their thing. This is what we have to look at, Mike. We have to start thinking out of the box. We cannot do the same old thing and expect a different result. I think it was Einstein that said that's the formula for ludicrousy.
Right.
You know, so please, let us be honest with ourselves.
Where does a transition like that begin?
Two places. It is in the construction site, in the construction industry for sure, but also in government, because government must facilitate it. If government doesn't go into green energy, alternative energy, then that fund is untouchable. If government isn't dealing with waste and pollution, then it is untouchable. Contractors will do they will change and adapt to where the money is, because it's business for them.
The Dutch government says they're willing to help you, but not to do diesel engines, not to
you know, and that's why people get upset when Chris said, I got to distance myself. But I was extremely happy when he did, because I was going to tell him, please distance yourself. You know, you're not distancing yourself from the coalition, but you're distancing yourself from this approach and this decision on this energy crisis. GB is a problem. And we can point fingers, and I hear some fellas come on these shows and say, oh, it was a problem 30 years ago, and the former minister is only 31. That's utter nonsense. So you're telling me Julius Lambert was no good? He caused the problem? Please, think before you talk, people, because you embarrass not only yourself, but you're throwing your ancestors under the truck. And I find it such a pity. GB has had problems. I was in GB in 1991, and we had a crisis that everyday current was gone 3-4 times a day. They even had suspend the management of GB that time. ENG came in with Yopi Hiskas and all those people. For years, I was sent to Curacao to train with 2 other seniors in GB that time. We came back, we worked, but again, the problem reoccurred. And it has to do more with the vision of the government. Government is the shareholder. Government gives them a concession. Put in the concession what you want. Now, in that concession of GB, there is a clause, I think it's Article 15, that they must produce alternative energy. When this concession was granted, in 2010, I think it was, by 2015, because we were busy from 2008, that time as government under the Island Territory of St. Martin, trying to get alternative energy with Holland. We were using Rijkswaterstaat to start in Holland to get this done, but that went belly up in 2011. So we did a public tender in 2012 under the then Minister William Allen, and out of that rolled a company that all the way up in 2014, we were negotiating with them in GB. When things started to go haywire, everybody walked away. 2016, Christopher met the Canadian group, spoke to them at the waste to energy. They came down. We picked up everything that we had from this previous tender. We said, can this work? We asked some other companies to bring in tenders. We had floating badges. So this whole LNG, we had that in 2016, that they were going to float the badge outside KB and give electricity. So it isn't that it wasn't there. It is there. The difference with this group was that the Canadian government was backing them, and they were going to fund it. All the country St. Martin had to do was grant them access to their garbage so that they can use the garbage as fuel, because we are not burning oil, we're not going to burn diesel, we are burning waste. And the other thing was that GB would have to sign a power purchase agreement, which means that they will buy so much kilowatt hour per year. And with that, the company has a 20, I think it was a 20 or a 25 year agreement with the country St. Martin. We would have been able to make between 9 and 15 and 9 and 20 megawatts as so desired. If you want more megawatts, it means you gotta bring more garbage. So the French side was contacted, Same and Station were contacted, and everybody was going to be on board. Because we have 770 cruise ships come in every year, and they're dumping garbage here every day. So we could have used that garbage. So not only the recyclables that they bring, but also the other garbage because we can burn it.
Burn it.
You know, you can burn food because there's a caloric value in the food. You can
Right.
burn the sludge of sewage because there's a caloric value there too. So the waste to energy plant was quite open to different sorts of garbage. But you would recycle the steels and the glass. Is okay, you don't burn glass, it makes no sense. You don't
Right.
burn steel, it makes no sense. So this plan was there. It was approved in 2017, I think in November, December, after the hurricane. It went to the Council of Ministers, it was approved. Those days, the ministers were Mr. Boseman. I think he had replaced at that point in time already William, because I think William had gotten his second motion at that point in time, so he stepped down at that point in time. The former Minister of Finance then was Mr. Richard Gibson. The Minister of Education, I believe, was Silveria. Then you had Mrs. Duncher. She was Tiat.
Yeah.
Trying to think. Chris was Vromi. I can't remember. Mr. Boseman was Justice, and then he took Prime Minister.
Yes, I was Emil.
Emily.
Right.
So all of these people were there.
Yeah.
These people agreed to this in the Council of Ministers. Governor Holiday said, you know what, it's a transition government. Let me hold on to this because this is a 25-year agreement we're going to try to make. Let me hold on to this and see what the next government that is coming in going to do. As customary in Samaritan, it wasn't mine, I didn't like it. And 10 months later, it was pushed aside.
And 7 years later, here we are.
7 years later, we buying 50 megawatt of diesel generators, fuel generators, tying ourselves once again to the fuel distributors. Exactly what the European Union warned us for.
Yeah.
We are going back to do. So Christopher was right when he said, that one I can't support. Please, understand for me, we as the Now Party of today, not yesterday, are looking forward to alternative energy, green energy. And the government is more going towards the direction of let us go back to the N-2. So, you know, and this is all fine and dandy. But solar energy, waste energy, turbine energy, you cannot keep the formula of N-2 because that's for a fully functional running power plant on engines alone. When you have 30-40% of that plant running on something else, and people say, oh, but solar only works in the day. That's not true. Solar also works at night once you put the batteries in place with the inverters. It works all over the world, except in Samaritan it ain't possible. And I'm saying we gotta be careful. Because sometimes we make ourselves the laughing stock. Because people are going up on podiums and saying, oh, solar don't work at night. But son, if you don't know what solar is, hush them out.
Have you been seeing the blogs and the opinion of tourists and the opinion of local business people and what it's doing to our economy? I mean, how concerned is a Now Party about the ripple effects of this thing?
I'm extremely concerned, Mike, and that's why in one of my shows, on my podcast, I told the Prime Minister, and it was no disrespect, I said, do you understand what you're saying with you're choosing the lowest costing formula? Because the lowest costing formula is not the GB formula. It is the damage the economy is suffering. And when you see the SHTA come out and say that they have lost 47% of their business, that means the government is going to collect 47% less. On turnover tax for sure, and profit tax, that's a different story. But it goes further than that. Because can they make payroll for their people? Then you hear them talk about loss of stock. That means that's lost, damaged capital. And the question is, who's going to pay for this? Where do we go with a claim? And this is the cost factors that you must keep in mind when you are talking, seeking a solution, and weighing off peanuts. Because 1.7 or 1.8 or 3 million, if it means that the 3 million is here next week, so you're paying 1.3 million more, how much did you lose last week? Was it 1.3 million or was it 3 million? Because we have to be honest, our economy is how much per year? You just take off the loss of time and then you tell me what the number is. But that's not done. They're going to tell you, we have no data to do that. That is not true. We can run an interpolation on time down and when the time is. Is it the time when businesses are open and they can't function? When you read that coal bay is down for 29% of the time, that's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. And then you have another serious cost factor, mental health. People are frustrated. People are being stressed out. They come home from work.
Yeah.
They're dead tired and they're into a hot house and everything in their fridge is hot.
Yeah.
Because they were out for 6 hours.
Or spoiled.
And
And now you have people considering, well, those who could have barely afford it, they should get a small little generator.
I think a lot of people have.
Or
And I think Mikey Ferrier made a very smart move in Napa. Because for that 5 megawatt, for $800, so you want. People can buy that because at least they got a fan. They can sleep.
Yeah.
They have peace of mind. Their fridge is on.
Right.
You don't need to light up the whole house, you know.
No.
You just need to light up the things that you need. And you just buy a few extension cords and you plug them into the generator and done, because you cannot afford to continue with the GB as it is. And again, I am not going to beat the management on its own.
Right.
I don't think this is the management's fault alone. I'm not saying they have no fault, because there is fault.
Yeah, not exclusively them.
It's not exclusive, exactly.
Right.
I think the board played a much bigger role.
True.
And I hear politicians jump out, oh, but I know a board. How you mean saying you're a board? But who put the people there? You know, when you hear this, I get scared and I say, okay, you see, and this is my problem. I don't have time to go talk about that. I want to talk about sustainable jobs.
Right.
How do I get people to work in a field where they will pay them more than minimum wage? Because the solar business is a good business. You know, when you look at alternative energy in its general form, it's a great business. Go to Curacao, go to Aruba, you're going to see it's working. I mean, why can't we do it here? Go to Saba, go to Statia, it's working. Go to St. Kitts, go to Antigua, it's working. What is wrong with St. Martin?
Our son different.
What it must be? Our son must have a cover on it and say, don't come here, I ain't getting on. You know, this is my problem, Mike. And I find it such a pity that we get ourselves caught up every time in this. But that ESG fund that I spoke about, that Environmental, Social and Governance Fund, it is such a good something. And I know much people don't know what I'm talking about. Do yourself a big favor. Go on Wikipedia, any one of them, and Google it for God's sakes. Environmental, Social and Governance is a set of aspects including governmental issues, environmental issues, and corporate governance. So, you hear that last one? Corporate governance, environmental issues, social issues. Put them together and you're going to get a very interesting way of investing. Investing with ESG is considered sometimes and is referred to responsible investing, because you're looking at the environment and the social issues while remaining within the parameters of corporate governance. The friends and family nonsense is out the window.
Right.
Just digging up the shoreline or cutting up the hills is out of the window, because zoning plans will play a role in governance.
Yeah,
It's a very interesting concept.
Yeah.
It's not a concept of overnight,
Yeah.
but it is a concept that you can start now and 2 years from now yield fruit on it.
Right, and especially, it's a concept that forces you, the money is there, but it forces you to be responsible.
Yes.
In terms of your environment, in terms of how you build for your people.
Correct.
And how it's
Look, it's a complete different concept of the World Bank.
Right.
The World Bank comes with their rules and regulations,
Correct.
because they are managing a fund on behalf of the Netherlands for St. Martin. But if you look at the results over 6 years, you scratch your head and you say, okay, wait. This fund was supposed to be 4 years. We already extended it once for 2 years, and now we extended it again. And the question is, but how much more work came along?
Yeah.
And the answer is nothing. Basically, nothing came new. What came new was the argument, you have no capacity.
Right.
So continuously, you can't get this done because you have no capacity. And I'm saying, I don't believe so. I believe we have capacity, but you just don't want to use that capacity because of who they are and what they stand for. That's a big difference, you know, and there are people, you know, that we constantly get it. But I believe that when you do responsible investing, you mostly get impact investing. It's impactful, not only in the buildings, but also the people.
Yeah.
Because the people have learned a new trade, a sustainable job, so that all those that are 50, when they reach 65, you're
Yeah.
still in this
In fact,
zone.
may not be right away, but
You're still in the zone of alternative energy,
Correct.
because that's where we're going. Nowadays, computers are nice, but artificial intelligence is taking over.
Taking over.
So either you're going along or you're going to stay
Exactly
behind.
right.
You see, now these are the type of things, Mike, that I want to talk about. I want to stand for.
Right.
You know, one thing I will never ever change is the seniors, the taxation of the seniors. And I hear, and you know, let me just call it what I think. I think there are a bunch of hypocrites out there now walking around. Oh, I am going to ensure that you were there for 4 years. The finance minister didn't do it. I asked him on numerous occasions. I said, Minister, you all can't stop taxing the people, for God's sakes. It's about 3,000 people that are in
you
the
did
pension
that for
funds.
too. Yeah.
They're in the pension fund.
Yeah.
Those are the people that when they draw pension, that pension is taxed. Oh, the AOV ain't taxed because AOV is less than the minimum wage, so it's never taxed.
Right.
But what happens is you also get AOV as a pensioner out of the pension fund. Now, when they add those two, man, they kill you.
Yeah.
So they're going to first tax the pension. Let's say your pension was 3,000. They're going to tax that 3,000 on wage tax. At the end of the year, they take the AOV you get, they stick it on to your pension and say, okay, now this is your income tax. And now we're going to plan to ask you the income tax. This is the sad story that young professionals are allowing seniors to go through. And they could come with any kind of Nancy story. I always say, if there's a will, there's a way. But we opt to say, we got balanced budget, or you got nothing. When you have seniors not eating every day, and mind you, the surveys from VSA show that, how healthy is our country. I was there at the university and I couldn't believe the numbers being put on the board. I said, are you all sure these numbers are correct? They said, yes, Mr. Van Kemper. This is the result of the survey, the population survey. People, how often haven't you eaten in a month or in a week or in 6 months? And seniors will say, I will feed my grandchild and I will stay hungry. It's okay. I already lived my life. When people have to think so, and you sit down as government and you feel that 3 million or 4 million per year is too much to give to seniors, then please don't tell me you care, because you don't care. You don't care. Your onlyest goal is to re-elect yourself. And I'm saying, elected or not, I will continue serving my people. I have done it for 35 years. I've never been in politics before 2020.
True.
But I've been in civic organizations from the day I came back to St. Martin in 1990. Ask all those other politicians. Oh, I just do it. No, you don't do it. You do it for money or you do it for a vote. I don't ask people for their vote when I go and help them in their time of need. I have empathy and I live with them in their problem and try to solve it. There's a big difference. You know, if you don't understand how to deal with people, you can never govern a country. You can never govern the country. Because the country is not just facts and figures. The country is people. You're governing people. You're providing for people. This is the big difference between me and a lot of other people. I'm not just another politician.
And now the GB situation is making the situation for seniors
It's,
even worse.
They can't afford it.
Even because they can't afford generators
but
for sure.
no, not only that. We are bringing in diesel generators. They're not bringing in gas, you know, they're diesel, which means the cost is the highest cost of fuel for the next 3 years, not 3 months. Because when that initial one come and go, anytime GB engines got a problem, those generators start in. So don't let nobody fool you. Fuel clause will not go down, it will only go up. GB cannot consume that cost. So they will pass it on to the consumer. So we can expect a higher fuel clause as we go along.
MP Bryson has said, he made a comment, he said maybe we could even expect a new fee. Maybe like a container fee or some kind of fee, because something has to pay for it.
Yeah, the people will pay for it.
Yeah.
The people, listen, Mike, there's no free lunch. Let nobody ever fool you that. There is no free lunch. And I always say, we have to be careful how we do things because, I keep going back. The one book of figures we have to run this country is the budget. And I said it in January and people say, it ain't true, bugs. We're in July. Have we collected the $10 tax we were going to do at the airport?
Nope.
It's a fictitious number on the budget. But the former ministers seem to forget those things. I don't forget. There's one thing with me, I mightn't talk about it, but I don't forget. There are a lot of strange things that are being uncovered now by this government that is sitting there. Things that cannot just be considered normal. But my concern is not that anymore. I told all of them in there, every minister I have told them, if you uncover something that's wrong, expose it. Don't wait for campaign trail because then you're an accessory to the fact.
Right.
The Prime Minister said the country is bankrupt, expose it. Show what it is. Don't talk and don't show. I don't believe in those things. If I say it's A, I can show you A. I told you I can take my seat, I am going to show you why. I ain't got nothing to hide.
Right.
I don't believe in lying, I don't believe in being a hypocrite. Those are the two things I don't tolerate. But, unfortunately, they are different people.
No, but it's one of our issues is in mind, and I would like to hear a lot more people touch on this election. Of course, it's revenue generation.
Mm-hmm.
It is the bottom line,
Yes.
basically, in of country's future.
Yes.
Now, the now in terms of it's always about wealth.
Yes.
It's in your name. It's wealth.
Yes,
And
correct.
but wealth also means revenue generation. What in terms of revenue generation ideas or plans or are we looking for from the now?
I think there are two things we have to do. First, the first and most important thing is share the burden.
Right.
Now, share the burden is two ways because there are a lot of people in this country making a lot of money and not paying 1 cent. That needs to be tackled. It means compliance.
Right.
And everybody say, yeah, but we always talk about we do nothing. You do nothing because the laws sometimes don't allow you to do anything. We have a lot of people that own homes but are not from here. Now, listen carefully to me. I am not pro taxing the local man in St. Martin living here, owning a piece of land in his house, land tax. I am not for that. But if you are not living here, or if you take a house, put it in an offshore, put it in a company, and you ain't paying on it because you don't even live here, and you got your money running through Miami or any other place. No, you earned money here. You should pay for it. The law says that. So we should go behind those people and charge them. Make an agreement with Airbnb and let them pay you.
Right.
You ain't getting their name. They're going to give you 5% or 10% or whatever you want.
Right.
Do that. Do that. Everybody knows who have Airbnb. Just go on Airbnb and they're going to tell you where the area be. I mean, as government, all you got to do is put a few people behind a computer to make bookings and then cancel the booking a week later. And you're going to pay a fine. You're going to pay a fine, but you know what? You know where the house be.
Yeah.
You know who it's for. So if you really, Mike, really want to do it, you can do it. You can walk down the areas and start to look for all these, what we call mailbox companies. Because we got a lot of them.
Yeah.
But those people make a lot of money. But nothing happens. We always want to grab the little fella here.
Yeah.
I'll give a simple example. And it may sound far-fetched. But think on it like this. Because this is how the other people work it. Cruise ship comes in, sells $500,000, $1 million on tours. Where are those tours done? Here.
Yeah.
So that money, that $100 per tour is not collected. Nothing is paid on that. What we get is the $20 they pay the tour operator to do the island tour. The balance of the money stays with them because it's paid in Miami. You don't see that. Nothing. So you have to find a way now to generate money different
Right.
from that same cruise ship.
Right.
So what you want to do is say, okay, listen, I know casino licenses have certain regulations. So you can tell the ship, listen, you can stay here. You can open your casinos and all your stores because we can't get on board to play anyway. But your people can. And that way, people can come off because the ship is there till midnight. They'll come off, have dinner in a restaurant, do something nice, you know, maybe even play your own casinos. Look, we have to become creative. That means we have to make an adjustment to the law. 10 years ago, I threw out that idea. 10 years, we further now, not even touched.
Why do you think we're so afraid to do these new things in terms of new fees, increase the tourism fee, increase add fee to days, add fee? We're so afraid with everybody else around us.
You know, look, it is a fear that was instilled in a lot of Caribbean islands. I was, back in the early 2000s, I was on the board of the Harbour, and I can recall we went to an FCCA meeting in Grand Cayman.
Right.
And the then Minister of Tourism in St. Kitts got up and said to all the Caribbean leaders there, listen, we're going to impose a $20 head tax. And
the whole room.
The people from FCCA tell him that ain't gonna happen. The next morning, that minister was not at FCCA anymore. He left, he went back to St. Kitts. He became the Minister of Interior Defense with the police and so.
Yeah.
2 weeks later, a cruise ship pulled in to St. Kitts. That is not a fake story, that's a real story. Yeah. So all those boys that sit in those chairs decide, I can't beat FCCA. I can't fight them. So I'm going to join them. Yeah. That's why they regulate your head tax and not you regulate your head tax. Yeah. This is the power of the industry. But it doesn't mean to say that the industry is willing to work with you. I just hear the Minister of TR say that Royal Caribbean is considering working with them to reduce. So remember, the industry is also interested in making money, which means enhancing the destination. So if you can show certain things, just like how we want to charge, for example, a fee at the airport, where environmental aspects, education, whatever it is that will come to entities. You see, very often industries are afraid when you say government, because it goes into the big black hole.
Right.
We have, the law says we have a road fund, for example, but we don't put the monies that we get from the number plates in the road fund where it should go, 11 to 15 million a year, so that we don't have to be fighting to build roads on capital expenses. Right. We have money every year, we can do it. Government has to rearrange how it does things. That's, you know, Mike, the now, like I said, we are a party of today, not yesterday, not 70 years or 50 years or 40 years of, no, we're a party of today. And all we want to do is look forward. We got to take the problems of today, make them the solutions of tomorrow, and give the future generations an opportunity to survive in our country. Because the way we are going, we will destroy this country before my grandchildren are even adults, and that would be a shame.
You've been associated with other parties.
Yes.
You know, you're the deputy leader of the No Party. What would you say is the biggest difference between No and these others that you've been associated with?
Leadership. In one word, leadership.
Okay.
I think leadership, the ability to think along and decide along. Look, the leader has ultimate say in any party. That's normal, because otherwise you have chaos. But it all depends on how you look at it, you know, and which direction. I think the Now Party's direction is primarily, hey, I want this country to go forward. And yes, we are a young party, and yes, we need more people to help support us. Right. And yes, if it is up to Bancampa, I would like an outright majority. Right. Because only then can a party execute its manifesto. Anytime you get into a coalition, you are going to compromise. And it is how good your negotiation skills are that you can determine which minister you might be able to pull to take out the most important parts of your manifesto to get that done. But again, this is dependent on the negotiations and how strong you came out of the electoral box.
Now, what about your candidates? I mean, you're a veteran on your list. Your candidates, a lot of them are young, a lot of them, you know, they're excited, they're energetic. Do they lean on you a lot? I mean, do you have these kind of conversations to tell them what to do, what not to do?
You know, been a candidate myself now for 4 years.
Right.
Before that, my wife was in politics, and I was beside her, through thick and thin, no
Support,
matter
right.
what
Matter
it is,
outcome.
we take the blows together. It was never leave her take blows alone. I always said, if I give you advice and it goes wrong, I am co-responsible.
Right.
But no, with these youngsters, I must honestly say, yes, they ask the questions. They see me as one of the veterans not only understanding politics, but understanding government. Remember, you're running for parliament. You need to understand what your task truly is.
Right.
You're not becoming a minister. You're not going to build roads. You're not going to manage the airport. No, you are going to manage government. You're a co-legislator. That's your core task. And naturally, when overseeing government's operations, approving their budgets, ensuring that policies are executed, like a zoning policy, for example, that our environment is not continuously destroyed, that's our task. And I explain them that, so when we are having debates or when we are talking to people, then they also understand the role. Because people say, yeah, I want you to build that road. It's nice, but it is not. That's not what you're running for. No. So you explain them these things. I am happy that we have 2 ministries, because we have a few candidates that were qualified, that went into the cabinets, and they are learning the hard way what red tape is all about. And they get a reality check sometimes on what it is and what it's not. And that's great. We have meetings continuously. We have people that are helping us to look at politics out of a different set of eyes.
Right.
Because sometimes, you're so set in your ways and you believe that this is the way to go. And that's also happened when the leader said, we ain't doing it the regular way. The waving the flag, honking the horns on stage. No, we opted intentionally to walk away from that. Intentionally.
It's the same people that's following around wherever you go.
Exactly. That was the chicken leg and Johnny Cake style. The olden days, they even used to have barbecue grills going on and the food, cheering, drink. Listen, if you feel that's the way you want to spend your money, I would give some simple advice. Buy a grocery bag, put in some stuff, and if you were paying $5,000 to $10,000 for all those public meetings every week, you hold them every night, take that money and share it out in the community that people could use the food. Yeah. There are really hungry people out there. Don't misunderstand that concept of hunger out there.
Back then things were, we say,
much better.
It's much better.
Much better.
Good. You could have gone and celebrate, but right now.
No. Things are very hard. No, things are very hard.
Yeah.
Things are really, really hard. And Mike, my fear is always when things get difficult for people. I have a saying, Mike, that I. Let me just give you that one, because then you're going to understand what I'm trying to tell the people of St. Martin. Weak people create hard times. See the hard times we're in? That's because we had a weak government. Not a stable government, a weak government. Hard times create strong people. The people of St. Martin are very resilient. And we have stood up after hurricanes, and we will stand up after this horrible government we had. Strong people create easy times. That's the now. We are strong. We are going to create easy times for the country, for the people again. And then we have to safeguard, because easy times create weak people. Because we drop our guard and we go back to the same old nonsense. And I love this saying because it is so real in St. Martin. It is... like how, I don't know how to put it other than
personified.
Yes.
That's
so
it
is one of the more difficult things.
Yeah. So now, so moving forward, you're going to be here with me every Thursday, and next week primarily, I'm telling you from now, I want to get into the prospects for our young people.
Yeah.
Moving forward, because that, of course, is my...
But that's why I touched today intentionally on jobs for young people.
Yes.
Sustainable jobs, though. Yeah. Young people don't want to hear that they should go wash dishes or pick up garbage alongside the road.
They even hear that.
No, they will not go to work.
No.
And then you're going to say, yeah, but they want to work, they're lazy. Why? Why? Look, there's nothing wrong with the job, but they just want more out of life.
Yeah.
And we have to, as country, offer them more. And for us as country to offer them more, not government, as country, we have to be able to give them a few things. They need tools, eh? They need tools. They need an education. They need a job market that can give jobs that are higher paying than the minimum wage. And telling people I can bring you up to 2,700 guilders is utter nonsense. Yeah, but when I tell it to you, when you tell it to me what? When you tell it to me what? It hasn't happened for 4 years. And it wouldn't happen if I'd given you another 4. So I ain't giving it to you. I'm going to give it to the party that is living for today and preparing for tomorrow. I cannot live in yesteryear. Yesteryear's problems is what has me here right now.
And actually, in 2024, the country should have been in a position to offer these young people so much more.
Mike, you know, when I got in 2020, it was just before the whole COVID pandemic really sprung into action. And for a year and a half, you know, I was part and parcel of the whole Zoom meetings and all those type of things. And then we got back into, you know, fighting again. And I can recall the first thing I got in office was the draft criminal procedure code. I'll never forget that. And if we don't approve this, what FACTA will do to us, and we can't use our credit card machine. And I said, people, take a chill pill. For God's sakes, let's check what is really going on. And it turned out to be that we didn't send the information to the right people. Mind you, Samantha was compliant, but we didn't send it to the right people. Jeez. I am telling you, Mike, it is crazy when I bounced up on that. And I want to thank people like MP Bryson, MP Samuel was there that time, Rudolph. They were the ones together with me. And the former Minister of Justice, you got to give her credit. And she was the one that realized the information never went. So look, when you're wrong, I can beat you, you know. But if it's right, I can tell you you're right. I can give you your jacket when you're right. And she really worked on that FACTA thing. So no ill feelings to nobody, but that's the reality. We got to stop panicking. Instead, we should take 2 steps back, do a review of what's really going on, and then move. Had that happened, when Mingret had handed that special letter, we wouldn't be in elections today.
Folks, we're really joining us. We're having a conversation with the Deputy Leader of the Now Party, Claudius Camper. I know MP Emmanuel already said coming up, they're going to be in the district, going to have small, they're not going to give out too much, of course, but you yourself, you personally, can your voters, can your supporters see much, will be seeing much more of you?
Yes.
Out there now?
Personally,
yes.
Let me just give you from now. 520-1188. That's my personal number. It hasn't changed for the past 15 years. Yeah. Please, you call that number. If I don't answer you right away, you can guarantee yourself I will call you back.
Right.
I have always done it, and I don't change before, during, or after elections. It was the same thing with a hurricane. Before, during, and after a hurricane, I always walk. I don't go and do WhatsApps. I go out and walk because you need to fix the problems. So if you have an issue, you can call me. On my number, I will make some time. Try to get to you. Sometimes if you explain it to me over the phone, I might be able to have the solution for you and guide you where to go.
Right.
And we can do a lot, and we can help each other in that way. Sometimes I have to come and look and give you my personal opinion and my advice, and I will do that. Yeah. Again, I am here to show you that I'm worthy of your vote. I ain't paying for no votes. Let me be clear on this.
Right.
I ain't paying for no votes. But I can give you the representation you need. And all those clowns talking about who can't take seat, we will see who can and who cannot. I ain't going to waste my time, but I'm going to emphasize it because what happened last time ain't going to happen this time.
Right.
I can do the job. Those that don't know, they will tell you, but Camper can get the job done. You know, we need your support to be able to run this country the way it should be run, to give the people what they truly need. We need your vote. But my phone is 520-1188. Call it. And if I can, I will help you. If I can't, I will tell you how to get it done.
That's right.
And if I don't know, I'll also tell you I don't know. What I will not do is lie to you.
Right.
and promise you a rose garden, and after elections, turn off my phone so nobody could get me. My phone has been on since I lost in January, and it will remain on. And I pray to God, and I beg everybody for their vote, because with your vote, I can bring St. Martin back to the beautiful place it once was. We will never get back everything we had because certain things we have lost, but we don't need to lose it all. And with that, Mike, I want to thank you. I notice I have reached to the end of my tenure for today.
Yes.
So again, people of St. Martin, what you see in Buncamper is what you get. You're going to hear a lot of stories about me. I'm an open book. You want to know about me? 520-1188. Call me. I'll tell you. I don't have secrets. I don't hide things. I have done things that I'm not proud of. But you know what? I have learned from them, and I try to help people that find themselves in those positions how to get out of it and get the correct help. I don't wear this cross just like that. I don't just wear it because it's show. I wear it because for me it has very, very specific value. All of us have our stories to tell. Mine is an open book. No lies. So Martin, take care for today. Thank you all very, very much. Mike, thank you for having me here.
Thursday, my pleasure.
Next week, Thursday, I'll be here, and we will be discussing youth affairs and,
Yes,
and
please.
what we can do, not only with just youth,
Yeah.
but how do we can maybe tie in culture and arts into
Exactly.
youth and sports naturally, and see where we can take it from there.
So very nice cultural projects we need to talk about.
Oh, and
For sure.
I know some of them.
We need to talk about them for sure. Folks, it's
you.
3 o'clock. That was E. Claudius